Welcome everybody, welcome right back to Homestead Heart. This is video number 2, question number 2 I am answering for you today. In the previous video, I answered the question, Mrs. H, which jar should we start with? Should it be a regular mouth? Should it be a wide mouth? Should it be a pint size? Should it be a quart size? I think I forgot to actually say which size, but even that depends on you. It depends on what you're canning and how much, right? Maybe I need to address that. I don't know. We'll see. But in any case, you all, the next question is, Mrs. H, band on or band off? I hear it all the time. You shouldn't leave bands on. It's okay to leave bands on. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Yes, it is. I hear that and see that back and forth all the time. So I'm going to tell you what I do. All right. Now, if you notice on this jar, these are some pineapples that I canned a while ago. And these pineapples right here, I probably could make some. I ain't making no pineapple jam. I will never hold on to it. Mr. H will never let me keep pineapple jam on the shelf. If you've been with us a long time, then you already know that story, right? Anyway, pineapples, fresh pineapples that we canned. And these are some cherries that I canned this year, right? But if you notice, this one doesn't have a band on. This one does, all right? Now, you hear that? Okay, listen. I know you hear that if you leave the band on, you run the risk of, that right there, you run the risk of having a false seal and not knowing, okay? So, listen, this band, if I were to leave the band on just tight, right? Then if this lid pops, this band could hold that lid in place and cause the lid to suction itself down again, and you would never know that this lid, that little dimple that's sitting in the lid, you would not have known that it popped up, because sometimes the band can cause the lid to reseal itself. But now there's air inside, and your contents will go bad. Now, for the most part, if your contents go bad in the jar, you may very well be able to see that. And when you open the jar, you should certainly smell it, right? There's gonna be some signs that it is not good, okay? But let's just say there aren't any signs that it's gone bad. One thing that I would tell you to do is just when you open a jar, just smell. Just smell, right? Because rotten food smells. I don't care. I don't care how you look at it. When food is no good, it's going to have an odor, right? Have you ever just left some meat or something out on the counter, or a package that had meat in it, and you put it in the garbage can after you took the chicken out, and if you left it in there for 2 or 3 days, you're going to start to smell that. So just imagine that smell concentrated inside of one of your jars. You should smell that, right? When you open the jar, you should be able to smell it. So one thing I would tell you to do is use your senses. Use your eyes and use your nose, okay? And if it doesn't look bad and if it don't smell bad and you happen to taste it, if it tastes like, okay, this might not be good, that's another sign. Hopefully it'll never get to that part. Hopefully just from you looking and smelling it, you'll be able to discard it, right? Okay, but let's just say that my band is on. Well, let me take this one back off, because this is the one with the band off, right? But this is the one with the band on. Now, me leaving this band on is not going to create a false seal. Yes, I leave my bands on a lot of my jars. Not all of them, but a lot of them, right? The reason why I do that is just simply because it's a placeholder for my bands. I don't have to have bands just everywhere. I have a bucket of bands. And at one point I just had bands going I'm like, come on. There's got to be a better way, right? So I was watching one of our fellow YouTubers, and he was the one who gave that suggestion, and it's Alaska Prepper. And I was watching one of his videos, I want to say a couple of years ago, and I said, that makes perfect sense. And so I started leaving my bands on. Now, they're not on tight, okay? No, they're not on tight. They are literally on just like so. Drop it on, and it's just there just to hold it. You can hear it. You can hear the band, right? So it's on just tight enough so that it's just holding the place, but there's no way that this band sitting here, just like so, is gonna hold that lid on when it pops, because it's barely holding itself on, right? So I'm using it as a placeholder. Right? Look at there. I could still take that right off of there. So that's all I'm using it for, is a placeholder. One thing you have to remember though, if you have it on so loose that it could pop right off, you want to make sure you pick your jars up like this and not by the band. All right? But I try to put my band on enough so that when I lift the jar up, it still did it. So when I lift the jar up, it still did it. Okay, here we go. It still won't come off, right? But it's still loose, right? It's still loose. So I will try to put my band on tight enough so that it doesn't come off if I should happen to forget and lift this up. But it's so loose that, see that? There's no way it's going to hold that lid in place if that seal should fail. Okay, you all? So you can decide like what is best for you. But for me, bands on and off, I'm going to do whatever's convenient. If I have more bands than I need, then I'm going to pop this right on. There we go. Pop it right on and leave it right on the shelf. And if I run out of bands, well, I guess I know where they are. They right here. And I could just go and grab some. And I don't have to have bands hanging everywhere or in buckets or in bags or in boxes. Because many of you know that every time you buy a case of jars, you're getting 12 additional bands to go right along with it, right? And you may not even need the bands, right? Most times we don't. If we've been canning for any amount of time, we probably got enough bands, right? So you all, what is it that you feel is best for you? I could tell you now, if I open up a case of jars and can something today, like I'm gonna do, I can tell you right now, that band is going on that jar. It's not gonna be tight. Look at there. It's not going to be tight, but it's going to be on this jar. I'm not concerned about a seal failing, and this band here holding that in place. There's no way. All right. So y'all, that's what I do with my bands, with my extra bands. I put them on the jars and they do just fine for me. And since I started doing that, I've never had a problem. The only good thing that has happened is that I don't have to worry about all these bands floating everywhere. And if I need them, I know exactly where they at. Right? Right. All right, y'all. That is going to do it for this video. Oh my goodness. I am so glad that I have done this video. I'm going to do another video about, no, I'm not. Because the size of the jar depends on you. And I will say, okay, yes, I will do another video. Yes, I will. I'm going to keep them all separate. That way, the title itself would be self-explanatory. All right, you all? So that's going to do it for this video. I hope you found it helpful. I'm sliding off my stool. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, give our video a thumbs up. share the video as well. I would greatly, greatly appreciate that. All right. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching Homestead Heart. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you. And I will see y'all in the next video.